Pues una vez analizada una de las cuestiones más importantes que afectarán al sector agroalimentario en los próximos años, pasamos a conocer la experiencia de Valio, una de las cooperativas europeas que mayor crecimiento han experimentado en los últimos años. Presenta Agustín González Sánchez, consejero de Cooperativas Agroalimentarias de Andalucía.
Bien, buenas tardes a todos. La próxima ponencia versará sobre la experiencia europea en el desarrollo del cooperativismo, la innovación al servicio del socio. Nos acompaña para ello Rita Brand. Rita es vicepresidenta de la cooperativa Valio y, independientemente de lo que pueda ocurrir con las ayudas de los agricultores en la próxima reforma de la PAC, creo que todos coincidimos en que la mejor manera para garantizar la renta de los socios en el futuro de nuestras cooperativas será mediante la transformación, la industrialización y sobre todo la inversión en I+D, a fin de lograr un mayor valor añadido a nuestras producciones. En ello es lo que se va a centrar la próxima ponencia, y Rita Brand, como vicepresidenta de la cooperativa Valio, eminentemente innovadora, líder en Finlandia y una de las más importantes de toda Europa, con 110 años de historia. Su apuesta por la innovación y la producción sostenible ha convertido a Valio en un referente en el cooperativismo agroalimentario europeo. Se han preocupado por el bienestar de los animales, del medio ambiente, y los más de 5.800 productores que entregan diariamente su leche lo hacen siguiendo rigurosos procedimientos de estándares de calidad y un modelo productivo que reduce la huella hídrica y favorece la reducción en el cambio climático. Con hasta 1.000 referencias en el mercado, Valio destaca además por las innovaciones nutricionales en su gama de productos, resultado de una decidida política de I+D, que cuenta con una larga tradición en la compañía. Creo que es relevante y digno de destacar que el que fuera director del laboratorio de Valio entre 1920 y 1970 fue Premio Nobel de Química en 1945, lo cual dice mucho de lo que se ha hecho en innovación en esta cooperativa. Si no tengo malentendido, entre sus productos destacan hacer sal a partir de la leche o hacer carne a partir de proteína láctea. Todo ello para satisfacer la demanda de los consumidores y están sabiendo dar la respuesta a ello. En la actualidad, Valio tiene plantas en 12 ciudades europeas, de Finlandia, en Estonia, en Rusia, en filiales en Suecia, en Dinamarca, países bálticos, Rusia, Estados Unidos y China. Su número de empleados es de 4.000 y a pesar de haber sufrido importantes consecuencias como del veto ruso, han logrado superar la situación del veto ruso abriendo nuevos mercados y actualmente están en 60 países. Su facturación es de 1.600 millones de euros. Sin embargo, todo ello lo mejor será que Rita nos lo cuente y nos ilustre con su experiencia. Lleva 30 años trabajando en la cooperativa como vicepresidenta, es directora ejecutiva de la Asociación Finlandesa de Procesadores de Leche y Productos Lácteos, es miembro del Consejo de Administración del Comité Nacional Finlandés de Lechería y miembro del Comité Permanente de Política y Economía Láctea. Conocer de primera mano la experiencia y el éxito de otras cooperativas siempre nos va a ayudar a afrontar los retos presentes y futuros desde otras perspectivas. Por tanto, aprovechemos al máximo esta intervención. Bienvenida, Rita, tienes la palabra.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I take these plugs away so I don't hear the translation at the same time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to be here to tell about Valio. And I know something about Valio because I've been working for Valio over 30 years, as he said. He also told a lot of our company, but I will go through it. And it's great to be here. And for us Finns, cooperatives in food sector is very important. Though we have cooperatives in milk, meat, eggs, tank sector, and also in forestry. Not in olive oil, I'm afraid. We don't have a single olive tree in Finland. It's different sectors a little bit, but it's the same thing, benefiting the farmers, the ones who really work. Valio was established over 100 years ago. And this year we celebrate both Valio's research and development and Finland. They both 100 years this year. And we are very up north, so I think it's the most northern agricultural country in the world. And yes, we are proud to say that our milk is nearly the purest in the world. It's not only that there is very low content of somatic cells and bacteria in the milk, but the air is clean, and so is the waters, and a lot of rain actually there. And actually there is statistics about that. As you can see, it's a green country. It's maybe the greenest country in the world. And that's one of our very big factories. It's middle of forest by the lake. It looks great. And what is also good with cooperative system in Finland is that the same company collects the milk from farms and manufactures the products. And we also in Finland deliver them to the retail shops. So it's a system of very high traceability. There are no frauds in the chain. And that's one of our benefits as well. And what I'm going to tell you is about the ownership, because it's a cooperative. Some figures of turnovers and that kind of things. Also how we deal with our lovely neighbor Russia and what happened 2014. And then about the innovations. I've heard that you would like to hear more about the innovations and not so much about the rest. Here we go. So we are owned by farmers. It's not that Valio is a limited company, but it's only owned by dairy cooperatives and not anyone else. And the dairy cooperatives are, of course, owned by dairy farmers. And I've been working for this limited company for over 30 years, and I always felt that I'm working for the farmers. And here is the number 5,700. He said 5,800. I think when I gave the figure, it was 5,800 farmers, but yes, it's something like that. Just under 6,000 farmers who deliver milk to us. And of course, as a cooperative, we take all the milk that our farmers want to sell us. Sorry. Pressing the button. Sorry. Okay. So here you can see we are actually owned by 17 cooperatives. But because of the history, there are actually 9 of the cooperatives that don't do business with us. They only own some shares, so they can come once a year to our general meeting, only once a year. And in fact, they don't have anything to say about the business and operations of Valio. But they are our competitors, and they want to come and meet us once a year. But yes, there are 8 cooperatives, which one of them is a secondary cooperative. And those cooperatives deliver the milk to us. And with the colors, you can see the main cooperatives. The main ones are actually 5, and they cover the whole Finland. The white spots are areas for the competitors. Of course, there are no, in a way, there are no areas. I mean, farmers can decide to whom they want to deliver the milk. So we can't force them to deliver to us anyhow. So Finland is divided like this. And why do we have these cooperatives? Why farmers are not direct members of Valio? I think it comes from the history, but also nowadays they deliver services. Finland is a big country, and the cooperatives are more local. They are more near the farmers, and they deliver these services about quality, about silage, development in farms, and so on. So there are all kind of, and they even have shops for farmers where they can buy food or equipment for farming. And the structure of Valio, there is this annual general meeting, and in this meeting our competitors who own our shares can come. But this general meeting decides the structure of the supervisory board. And the supervisory board is 27 people, from which 23 are farmers from the cooperatives and 4 are from the company. They are personal representatives. And this general meeting has decided that the cooperative Itämaito has 6 farmers in the supervisory board, and cooperative Länsimaito has 3, cooperative Normilk has 8, and cooperative Tuottajamaito has 6 farm members. So farmers are in the supervisory board, but they are also at board of directors. There are 4 farmers, and that's, of course, board meets quite regularly, at least once a month, and this supervisory board is 3-4 times a year. So, of course, on top of board of directors who are farmers, we have the people who work at the company. It's a board of directors, and they do the kind of business. But of course, wrong word. But of course, we have the people who work for Valio. They have a kind of board as well. And this board of directors, they decide what is paid for farmers. Actually, Valio pays for cooperatives, and cooperatives pay the farmers. And cooperatives have slightly different financial situations, so the milk price for farmers is not quite the same. The basis how Valio pays for every cooperative is the same. I mean, it's the quality, it's the content. It doesn't matter what size the farm is or how far it is from the factory, the price is the same. but because cooperatives have different financial situations, there might be very slight, small differences in the farmers' prices. And Valio paid actually 43% of the turnover to farmers. I think that is quite high. Quite high. From our net sales, it's a high percentage. And milk as such is very important for Finland. When I came from Canada this morning, I saw that olive oil is very important here. I could see that there is a sea of olive oils. So we have milk, which is the most important agricultural sector in Finland. Of course, we have forestry and we have grass. And we can't grow everything in our country, but grass grows quite well. And that's why milk is important, and it's also important source of meat, beef meat. So it's a kind of connection there. So without milk business in Finland, the countryside would be quite empty, I would say, because it's a lot of people working for cooperatives, farmers, and there are a lot of people working for farm level as well and servicing the farmers. And one peculiarity in Finland is that most of the milk farms own forestry as well. So they have both. I mean, Finland is really covered by forest, so it's if you ever happen to come there, and drive across Finland, it's very much trees there. I heard it's 8 billion trees. But back to milk. So this is milk production in Finland, and Valio and the cooperatives collect 80% of Finnish milk. And as you can see, it's gone a little bit down, and after the quotas were abolished, we haven't really been increasing our milk production. It was not, we didn't reach the quota level actually, so getting rid of milk quotas was not an issue for us. So, well, this year we have a production minus 1%. So it's 2.3 billion liters in Finland. It's less than 2% of the European milk amount. And then from the structure of Valio to kind of key figures of Valio Limited. And yes, a lot of figures here. 110 years old, turnover 1.6 billion euros. So we have 1.8 billion liters of milk, and our turnover is 1.6. It's down from the years we were able to export to Russia. So during that time we reached the 2 billion euros turnover. So we are down 3.5 million euros actually. And we haven't been able to reach the 2 billion again, but that's of course our target. People in Finland, workers 3,100, abroad 900, 5,800 farmers, and the factories, yes, 2 in Estonia, 1 in Russia, and 12 in Finland. And we export total 60 countries. And I come back to that, but the whole milk chain employs 30,000 people. I don't only mean farmers and the personnel, but who are connected to this chain. We used to have very high milk price, but our dear competitors, of course, in Italy are paying better, but also now some quite big cooperatives have been able to raise their price. So we have a tough situation at the moment. From the turnover, is fresh products is 45%, and cheese is 25%. And domestic, 2/3 are domestic turnover, and 20% is from European Union. And then there is Russia, United States, and China that have around 4% turnover, 4% share of our turnover. And then some, of course, if there were 60 countries, the rest is there, quite a few countries. And our plans, I'm not going to go into those figures again. And here we can see that Sweden is very important after Finland. It's 100 million euros turnover, and it's fresh lactose-free products mainly. Yogurts and lactose-free. And then Estonia, United States. Estonia is mainly local milk and local sales. Milk collected from Estonia and manufactured there to dairy products and sold there. And US is both local sourcing but also exports from Finland. Emmental cheese, kind of Swiss cheese, if you better know it by that name. And then Russia. It's 66 million euros last year. What has happened there? I will tell you later. And China. And here is exporting totally. France is there. If you like croissant, you may find Valio butter there in that croissant made in France. No, the butter is made in Finland, but the croissant in France. And this is the milk price. So the orange is average milk price, and the blue one is for second-class milk price. So let's say the orange one is the right. So you can see that it really has come down from the years we were able to export to Russia. So it was over 45 cents a liter. And now it's something like 38 cents a liter. So we still haven't survived, because that was one of the questions: how did we survive from Russia? And then from the general figures, we traveled to Russia. And there we have nowadays assortment of 130 products. And we are actually producing with a kind of cooperation in 7 factories. We have 1 factory, but we have cooperation with and subcontract with 6 partners. And what happened? Why are we so keen on Russia? Is that we have been there for over 100 years. We started exports to Russia 1908. And if you can remember what I said, that Finland is 100 years old, 1908 we were still part of Russia. So Finland was a Grand Duchy of Russia by that time. So was that really exports? I can't say, because we were the same country in a way. we did have our own laws and our own currency by that time, but still we were part of Russia. So 1917 we became independent. And already 56, oh my God, that's over 60 years ago, we exported processed cheese by brand name to Soviet Union. And that was the first imported processed cheese. And we opened our own office. We became the importers. We were members of, we were supplying to the Olympic Games 1980. And so exports have been steadily growing. It grew until 12-13. It was over 350 million, mainly exports from Finland. And then, of course, August 2014, everything changed. But fortunately, we started to build a factory and a warehouse near Moscow 2007, and it was the construction was completed 2009. And there we manufacture processed cheese, and we also slice cheeses there. Oh, my magic finger doesn't work every time. No. So as you can see, before the embargo, 90% of the sales in Russia came from Finnish milk, and it was produced, the products were produced in Finland. And now only 11% is from Finland. And from partners, from the turnover from our partners is 58%. And 30% is from our factory processed cheese and slicing cheeses. So it has changed dramatically. But what we try to do is to keep the quality the same as from Finnish milk and from Finnish manufacturing. And about the milk market in Russia in general, they need some imports, and milk is an important part of the diet. And most of the imports is from Belarus. And yes, the milk production as such is not really growing there, but the collection of that production is growing. So there is more milk for dairies. And I understand that the dairies has also done a very good job there, so the quality is getting better and better all the time. So the whole embargo thing was very sudden. So we had a kind of warning just 2 hours before it happened. So we have something like 10 trucks at the border. And we also had a lot of products that were packed in packages with Russian labeling on it. And we actually were allowed to sell some of those products on Finnish market, though they had Russian labeling, because the product as such was very famous also in Finland, so all the consumers knew what they were buying. And we got this exception. But of course, it wasn't not the full price. So it was about cheese that you actually matured in a package. So we couldn't just tear the package off and just to give a new package. So it was a bit complicated. And it cost a lot. And all the time, milk was coming in dairies. And so we had to turn the button from fresh products and cheeses to butter and powder. And unfortunately, we're still on that road that we manufacture too much butter. And well, of course, today butter is very valuable, but let's say the so-called byproduct, skim milk powder, that's not so valuable. And to be honest, we would more like to be on the innovative side of dairy, and that's what we're aiming even today. So, this is the factory I've been telling you about. So we can process 50,000 tons of processed cheese there today. A year, of course, not today, on yearly basis, of course. And these are the factories we cooperate. You can maybe, Galactica is a local dairy near St. Petersburg, and that's where we have been cooperating even before the embargo. But the next ones are new ones, and they are mainly Russian. Of course, there is the German Ehrmann that is kind of European. I don't know really who owns these kind of Russian, so-called Russian dairies, if there are any Europeans behind them. Russian, VMG, and so on. So what we're doing today in Russia is that we are building these strong, long-lasting and mutually profitable partnerships with local. So we build long partnerships. So we are not going to stop everything if the embargo ends one day. And we supply from Finland non-dairy products and also baby food and a little bit lactose-free milk. It has shown that it's a bit difficult to export the lactose-free milk because they want to analyze every lot you take, and the analyzing takes weeks before you are able to sell the product. And yes, St. Petersburg, Moscow are the most important. And with this business, we try to kind of do in a way that benefits our farmers. The truth is, what's not really is that the Valio brands like Viola cheese is very well known in Russia. And of course, you know that brands have value. And if you, in such a huge market, you have very well-known brand, you don't want to give it up. And if you give it up, in 3 years, anyone in Russia can take your brand if you don't use it. So actually, we have to be there with our brands, not to lose them, because, well, there are clever guys who will misuse those brands if you're not there. So that's why we are. And on the other hand, if we have very well-known brands, why wouldn't we sell under those brands? Of course, we would love to sell products that are made from our farmers' milk, but it's not possible at the moment. Okay, and now you can relax 2 minutes, if I remember right, with this English film about innovation at Valio, and then I will continue speaking. No? How can I kind of start it? Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, I will continue here. You still have to listen a little bit. Yes, for us milk is amazing. And to be honest, I'm also a bit amazed what our researchers can find from there and how far they actually can go and are going. But I mean, thanks is given to this Mr. Virtanen, who was running the laboratory of Valio for over 50 years. And I think sometimes one man can make, or woman can make a difference, and he really made it. But it was our farmers that has decided that research is important. Otherwise, he wouldn't have had the room to maneuver there. So actually, when Valio was established in 1905, quite soon, one of our farmers said that a nation can't be successful without research. And from those words, it has been going on over 100 years, that research and development is very important. And this Mr. Virtanen, he has been acknowledged a very clever man, actually. Of course, it was after war he had to cut the Nobel Prize, so you never know what's behind of Nobel Prizes, why people get them. I mean, it was after Second World War, and we were kind of in a crisis in Finland at the moment. Yeah. This is the only dairy with the Nobel Prize. And let's say the innovations are not only the latest one, they started quite early. And actually the first one was so-called butter salt. So we could use butter that preserved well, and that was why it was very popular in United Kingdom. It didn't. It kept the good taste because of the salt, and actually we were able. I wasn't born then, by the way, so talking we, it's a bit peculiar here. But anyway, we were able to keep the secret of the salt for a very long time before someone else found it out. So we had a competitive edge there. And what Mr. Virtanen did was also with silage, grass silage, so you can preserve the silage. We have a very short summer in Finland. I mean, the growing season is something like 190 days or something like that, and we use the grass to feed the cows. And if you want to have some milk during the winter, you have to give them something. And the grass silage is something Mr. Virtanen also developed, and it's not here. Here is more of, let's say, excellent products. I would say the Mustaleima Emmental is one because of these preserving systems. You could make also long-lasting cheeses, so they could mature in a good way. So I come to the innovations slowly but steadily. So we nowadays try to listen what consumers are saying. I think everybody is trying to do that. Also, you have to be aware of the trends that are going and where they're coming and who is creating those trends. Someone is actually creating them. And we analyze the information, and yes, we try to give answers to those reflections we get there. I mean, there are trends like health and well-being, naturality, convenience, snackification, and protein is still on the list. And we have answered. We have lactose-free products. We have Gefilus, which is a bacteria probiotic, and it's for gut well-being. Whey protein, it's a native whey, not through cheese-making process, but from fresh milk. Whey from fresh milk. It's called native whey. Then we pay attention to sugar reduction. It's a big discussion in Finland and also in Europe, how to cut sugar. That's what we're doing also. And then we have salt reduction also. Though Finland is one of the countries that have one of the lowest salt intakes in adults in Europe, and still we are paying attention to that. And funny enough, our lactose intolerance rate is only 17%, so only every fifth Finnish people suffer from lactose intolerance, and still we are kind of forerunners in that sector. In Spain, the figure is 30% who are lactose intolerant. But it's maybe that we drink so much milk that you feel the symptoms, because with cheese you don't. And then we have this mifu, which is cheese that you could see that it's fried on the pan, and you can have it as protein source instead of, no, not instead of meat, but I eat anything, so even meat. That's a big discussion. If you talk about trends, it's the vegetarian discussion. Okay. And then we have this lactose-free. And we actually introduced this technology 2001, so 16 years ago. We introduced low lactose 1978. And here we use, I have here what kind of technologies are here. And so there's separation technology, not only the enzyme technology, but they are both there. And we have paid a lot of attention to taste. So in Finland, we actually drink pasteurized milk. So this lactose-free milk should taste like the normal pasteurized milk, so that people love to drink it. That's why taste is there very high. And then, of course, consumers are involved. So I think the importance here is the enzyme and separate technology both there to achieve the taste of normal milk. And Gefilus, this is a little bit sad story in that sense that we have had those products since 1990. There are over 800 studies about this product, and still we have no health claim from EFSA, European Food Safety Agency. And in 1990 we were not even members of European Union, so we joined the Union in 1995. And the legislation about health claims came afterwards. And we have made these studies before. And of course, EFSA evaluates if the studies are the kind they want. And of course, when we had made these studies, we didn't know what kind of criteria there will be in 20 years to come. So if we had known that, but it was not possible because there was no legislation, we were not members of the European Union, so we don't have health claims. But there are a lot of studies made, and you can kind of know that there is benefit from this probiotic. So there's a lot of nutrition research done. There is knowledge about the starter culture. Of course, consumers are involved, and also taste is important here. Me, myself, I don't drink wine during the lunch by the way, which you all are maybe waiting for, but I don't drink wine, but I drink sour milk, which has this gefilus probiotic. Well, very strange, not milk, but sour milk. This is not working every time, I'm sorry. And then we have profile. This is about the native whey. So we take whey directly from milk. So it's I think in better form. I'm not, as was told, I'm not technologist myself and not in research and development, but I know something about this because I've been working for 30 years. So here is, the main thing is the separation technology. Here also starter cultures with the quark kind of products. It's a cheese, quark, that kind of thing. And taste, well, if you ever tasted whey, it's terrible, to be honest. If you have plain whey powder, you really can't eat it, it's terrible. So here you have to be careful that you kind of have products that you can really eat. I have one package of the whey powder at home, and it's very slowly kind of emptying the packets and then consumer inside. This is for sporty people and I mean also for everyone who wants to kind of take care of their muscles. And sugar reduction, so we try to cut sugar content from yogurts and snacks. And yes, we have targets here, and we try to kind of have a nutrition commitment, which in Finland is actually part of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. It's connected there actually. And then salt reduction. This is interesting, and I like this because first you have cow, then you have milk, and then you make cheese. Then you have cheese, and then you have whey. And from whey, you still can take some minor minerals away. And from those minerals, we have made salt. And I think that's not the tricky one, but the tricky one, I think, is actually that you can make cheese with this salt. And if there's any cheese makers here, they should know that you can't make a cheese without salt. I mean, a cheese you want to mature. And this salt has low content of sodium, so it's better for your health, they say. So we have now two kinds of cheeses that have this low sodium, low salt content, and the other products which are more easy are dairy spreads. We have dairy spreads which are very popular in Finland. It's a mixture of milk fat and rapeseed oil, and you can spread it quite easily, even if you take it from the fridge. So there it's more, okay, I have to slow down. I'm actually in the end, don't worry. So this is, and this is the cheese we can fry on the pan, and we have even different shapes of this cheese. And well, now when people are more and more vegetarian, not vegans, vegans don't eat this, but vegetarians may use this as a source of protein. And I think it's, we have some new products there, and this is quite popular among those products actually. And this you can read. With this technology, here is the combination of two technologies. The whey, native whey technology, and lactose-free. And these products you can actually find in Spain as well. And we have a Facebook pages, and if you go to valio.com pages, you can actually find there some things in Spanish language. I don't know what they say here, but these are on market. I don't not really that much in Andalusia yet, I'm afraid. But okay, I thank you. It was great to be here. It's good that you said.
Bien, por ir finalizando, simplemente dos cuestiones. Primero, antes que nada, que no se olvide entregar el traductor, porque es importante. Bien, y simplemente agradecer a Rita su intervención. Creo que nos ha dado una muestra muy clara de lo que es el mundo cooperativo en Finlandia, como en un territorio lejano, muy al norte, no muy apto para muchas cosas, 6 meses me imagino que blanco o 7 y el resto verde, y con unas fronteras también complicadas, cómo se puede hacer una gran cooperativa a partir de cooperativas pequeñas, cooperativas de segundo grado, como hacemos en muchos casos aquí. Creo que es un gran ejemplo de funcionamiento de empresa. También quiero extractar, sobre todo, poner de manifiesto cómo en un momento determinado una decisión política es capaz de cambiar el rumbo de una empresa, como pasó con el veto ruso. No es lo mismo que pase en aceite que pase en leche, por las características del producto, evidentemente, pero cómo cambian las circunstancias en un segundo. Y, por supuesto, destacar cómo el I+D+I es capaz de hacer rentable y hacer sostenible un producto, un territorio, un país. Ella decía que el señor del Premio Nobel era la única empresa cooperativa que lo tenía, ¿no? Y bueno, yo creo que nos gustaría muchas de nuestras cooperativas tener un Premio Nobel en un futuro próximo, ¿no? Eso diría mucho a nosotros. Sin más, pasamos a la comida y continuamos esta tarde. Muchísimas gracias.